On today's episode of Meet the Machines, we're going to check out my new little buddy, the MXR Poly Blue Octave. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben, and welcome to Meet the Machines, the gear series for people who like things that are nice. I like things that are nice. And today we're talking about something that is very nice indeed, the MXR Poly Blue Octave. Whenever they announced this pedal, I knew I had to have one because I love messing around with octave pedals. They're really fun to make a mix sound even bigger, make a thin guitar sound fatter, make a fat guitar sound thinner. There's just a lot of options that you can do whenever you've got a good octave pedal. And this one right here is my doggone favorite that I think I've ever used. It's got so many features packed into it that it's kind of insane, and I can't wait to show them to you guys. In the name of perfect transparency, MXR did send me this pedal to check out, but I wouldn't be making a video about it if it wasn't something that I was going to use. I only make gear videos about stuff that I actually use, so all the opinions expressed in this thing are entirely my own. As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Sign up today, even at just the $1 a month level, and you're gonna start gaining access to a ton of bonus lessons, downloadable tabs, backing tracks, and so much more. Gear-wise for this video, I'm playing my lovely Ernie Ball Luke 3 here into the Poly Blue Octave, straight into the Mesa Boogie Badlander 100. Any delay or reverb that you're going to hear is going to be coming through Logic. And I almost forgot to mention, the little ditty you heard at the start of this song is a couple of sections from a song I released a couple of years ago called Cloud. I'll be sure to put the link for the whole song in the video description, that way you can check it out yourself. I recorded that song years ago using a couple of the octave effects that were built into the Kemper, but I knew it'd be a perfect time to re-record it with this sick Mesa amp and this awesome new pedal, so it just seemed like perfect fodder to demonstrate how awesome this little blue box is. All the audio on that track was mixed and mastered by my good buddy Eric Hill over at Blue Room Recording Studios. Be sure to hit him up for all your audio needs. So without any further delay, let's get to mashing some ropes and turning some knobs. For starters, here's my clean tone. Now let's start checking out some of the tones this thing is capable of. Okay, let's walk through the knobs right here. First thing I want to mention is the first knob here, which is your wet-dry blend. With it all the way this way, you're hearing nothing but the pedal. With it all the way this way, you're hearing nothing but your amp. So I'm going to keep this here at noon for the most part. Okay, we have the control to add in one octave up. 2 octaves up. 1 octave down, and an extremely tubby 2 octaves down. she thick. And again, you have control over all 4 of those octaves, so you can get a little bit of octave 1 up and a little bit of that sub-octave down if you want to. Or go crazy and turn all 4 up, if that floats your boat. See what that sounds like here. It's like really creepy and like church organ-y right away, right? Really, really, really cool sounding. Okay, so you can blend in as much of those 4 octaves worth of range as you want. And again, using the wet dry here, I can make it nothing but the pedal if you want to hear what that sounds like. I love those sounds. They're like really synthy, and you can hear some of those little garbly kind of artifacts of nothing but that digital pitch shift. Really cool. Or you can turn up the dry right here so you get more of your amp's original tone with just a little dusting of those octaves on there. Really awesome. Okay, we got a couple more things to talk about right here. I'm going to turn these down just a little bit. Because this guy, in addition to having all 4 octave range of control like that, you've also got a built-in fuzz that's adjustable, and you've also got a built-in modulation with 2 different modes. Really sick. Okay, the modulation on this is rad. Check this out. And again, you got a knob to control how much of that you want. It's really cool sounding. It's almost like a Leslie kind of like rotating speaker sort of sound. And as you roll that knob up, it increases the rate of the rotations of that Leslie. It's really just so nice and like spooky sounding. Okay, that's just fun right there. Now the cool thing is if you touch the button for the modulation right here, it's then going to change the sound to being more like a classic phase 90. It's got that really thick swirling thing that you associate with the phase 90. And again, as you turn it up, it increases the rate of the phase. Really cool and like very psychedelic sounding. Okay, now speaking of psychedelic, let's talk about this fuzz that's built into this thing. I have no idea how they slammed all this stuff inside of a normal sized pedal casing, because this also has a fuzz in here that's built in that I think is modeled after like the MXR, I want to say it's called like the Blue Box fuzz or something like that, and it is gnarly. Okay, let's check out how it sounds on its own without any of the octaves engaged. Again, here's the clean tone. Now let's kick on that fuzz. super thick, really fuzzy sounding. I love playing around with fuzzes, especially when there's like octaves involved too. So let's dial some of those in here. Should get us some pretty familiar tones right away. Maybe you recognize this one. I don't think you can legally be plugged into an octave device and not play that riff, so went ahead and checked that box right there. Now here's the cool thing about the fuzz. So if you want to make it more or less fuzzy, you can do that. Hold down the button. It's going to flash like that right there. At that point, this knob is going to control how much fuzz you're getting. So if you have it down low, it cuts the volume down to that fuzz significantly, whereas if we turn it up, I love playing around with fuzzes with a high octave on it like that, especially because when you do bends, they kind of like freak out and the overtones get really crazy. That's the kind of just disgusting racket that I signed up for when I decided to play guitar. I love those sounds. They're just so gross, and you got them right there on tap. So again, I can go for whatever level of fuzz that I want, and once I've got it set where I like it, I usually go for about right there. You just hit the fuzz button again, and then that position is locked into place, and it'll be the same way every time you turn that fuzz on or off. So overall, if you wanted to go completely hog wild with this thing, you could turn on all 4 octaves of range. You gotta be careful of that sub too. It gets really thick really fast. But you can turn in all 4 octaves if you want to. You can engage the fuzz, you can put on some modulation, and get some really crazy tones by using everything the pedal has on board. I mean, that is just good, dirty fun. And speaking of dirt, let's change the Badlander here over to the distorted side of the amp so you can see how these octaves and stuff engage with that distorted sound too. So there's the sound of the amp on its own. Now let's start messing with this guy. I'm gonna keep the fuzz off for now. Just gonna roll in a little bit of that first octave up and the first octave down sound. See what that sounds like. So that's what I'm talking about. Like that riff on its own, just played in standard C. It's cool and all, but it's like really thin sounding. So whenever I recorded it, there's actually a layer there in the middle of the guitar playing in this range rather than the 7-string range with that octave down engaged, just to make it sound a little more thicklier. I love how whenever you run an octave pedal into a distorted amp, the octave itself gets that kind of distorted, grungy, kind of granular sound. It sounds like an angry space robot or something. I think that's a really cool thing. And you can hear it also tracks really fast too, so even if you're playing quick lines, it's really sticking right there with you. And again, you could have this on your board for your distorted tones and not even be using the octaves for a particular song in your set. Just use that phase 90 sound if you want to, maybe blend that in 50-50. And now you've just got like a functional phaser on your board that you didn't have to devote an entire pedal to on your pedal board. It's a familiar little ditty right there. Again, great sounding phaser on its own. You could use it just for the fuzz on its own, just for the Leslie effect on its own, just for a single octave up, or down, or 2 up, or 2 down, or any combination of all those. It's kind of insane how many different tones you can get out of one pedal and how much space you save on your board when you consolidate all that stuff into one normal sized box. I think honestly my only complaint about the pedal is that I kind of wish I could save presets on it. You know, like if I had preset 1, which was just a fuzz, and preset 2, which is some crazy octave church organ thing, that would be cool. Of course, it's going to make the pedal bigger and more expensive. So, you know, it's kind of a trade-off, I guess. Maybe one day they'll do like one of their bigger boxy units that has a couple different switches on it so you can access presets. I guess that would be kind of cool. But honestly, it's not like it's a big deal just to, you know, hunker down and turn a few knobs or hit a few buttons for different tones in between songs. And I forgot to mention too, there's also an expression pedal jack on here as well, which Brian Kehoe from MXR has told me you can use to access some really crazy tones where you can kind of blend in how much of the effect you're getting. And I think maybe even like how fast that Leslie effect is spinning and stuff. So if you have an expression pedal, you can get even more tones out of this. Awesome pedal, has so freaking many features built into it that it's kind of insane, and it's not even very expensive. Click the Sweetwater link down there in the video description to head over there and check it out and buy one for yourself. I strongly recommend it. I'm gonna be using this thing all the time. It's new, it's blue, and it's all you. Love that little pedal. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like it, hit subscribe, and also ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. If you want to help support my channel and get access to a ton of cool stuff and access to a community of awesome people just like yourself, which of course you do, be sure to check out that Patreon page over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Let me know in the comments section what piece of gear you'd like to see featured on the next episode of Meet the Machines. Maybe it's one of these Beautimus guitars that I've got, a particular pedal you've had your eye on, whatever it is. If it's something that gets my stamp of approval, something that I would actually use in real life, it's going to be featured here on the channel. So be sure to let me know what you'd like to see next on Meet the Machines. Thanks again for watching. Now get away from the computer and go play some guitar. Less clicking, more picking.